So I'm Kirsten.
I'm Allie.
And you're listening to
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Bad Hookups. Hey everybody, welcome back to the pod.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for being here. We have to say something. We have a Thomas today.
Yeah. Finally.
Their name is Langston, but they're our Thomas, and it's really nice.
It is nice. I remember last episode we started talking about, and I feel like every episode we talk about this, like how we need help.
We need help. But Langston is helping us today, and we're really happy.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, obviously, bad hookups.
Yeah.
We have a lot of bad hookups stories.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I feel like everybody at least has one, especially like when you are first starting out.
Yeah.
Too. Like there's always awkward moments.
Well, sex is awkward, especially when you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, especially when you're queer too, because you're like,
yeah, if you're a queer baby, you're like, I don't know what's happening.
So
like, I'm scared.
Yeah. I mean, we have some of our stories.
Our own stories. And we did get a lot of listener stories.
Yeah. So normally we do the thing where we go to 4100 or go to a bar and do field interviews, but we decided not to do that this time because we actually got enough listener responses this time.
So we're going to go into those. But first, how was your week?
It was good. So we went to Topanga, and have you ever been to?
Yeah, me and Kadar went for our 1-year anniversary last year.
Yeah, it's nice because it's like it's basically LA and it's close by, but you feel like you're in nature.
Yeah, because you're like in the mountains and it's more secluded.
The mountains. Yeah, okay, so it's like very hippie, but very like white.
Rich hippie.
Rich hippie. Yeah. So there's that vibe a little bit, but everybody's really nice and there's a lot of cute little gift shops in town, but like the best part is just the nature.
Yeah.
And like how close it is to LA. We stayed in an Airbnb and we didn't really know. Okay, so first off, we booked the Airbnb and he was like, wait a minute, could you actually like give me $150 or cancel it because I forgot to put the cleaning fee? Like that's like, he just like messaged that to us. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like I feel like it was just like a weird conversation at the beginning. And then finally like we ended it with like, okay, we're just going to bring you $50 cash because this is your fault.
Yeah, this is like, it's not my fault you forgot to put the cleaning fee. And that cleaning fee is too expensive anyway.
Yeah. But apparently I have good reviews on Airbnb, so it allowed me to instant book. And he didn't think that like he had instant book like activated, but it's only activated for people with good reviews.
Wow. So you're better than everybody.
Yeah, but anyway, so it was like weird, and we didn't know like what to expect because there's no like pictures of the outside of the place. It was just like, okay, this is close to the town because we're not going to be driving, so it was like convenient. So we got there, and it's like an old summer camp. Well, I don't know if it's a summer camp.
Sounds like a horror movie.
It does. I feel like in like the early 2016 era, it was like a wedding venue.
Oh, okay.
But before that, maybe it was like a summer camp.
Where people got murdered.
Yeah, or that. But there's an amphitheater there, like on the
cool.
grounds. It's hard to describe. Like when you walk like down to like where the creek is, there's like concrete on the ground, like they made a stage like in the woods.
That's cool. That sounds like some West Virginia shit.
Yeah, and then there's just like a bunch of old random furniture. There's like a grandfather clock like out in the woods and like a bridge, and
that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Like we got there and we were like, oh, I don't know, like it doesn't look like there's actually hiking here, but then we explored it more and it was a lot of fun.
Got some good hiking in.
Yeah, but I think I have ringworm now.
No. Why?
Because we went to the creek.
The crick.
And we went creek. Do you call it creek stomping, by the way?
No, never heard that.
Maybe that's an Indiana thing.
It might be because we just say like going to the crick.
But you said crick?
Searching for crawdads.
Well, we didn't have crawdads.
Wow.
Oh, so I don't know.
You picked up an infection in the crick?
I think so.
Kirsten,
I don't know.
What is this? Naked and Afraid? God,
kind of. We were in the creek and just like
Creek
stomping, as I say. At some point we took off our shoes because they kind of got wet. I don't know if I was trying to put my shoe back on or what happened, but it fell into the creek and it was like floating down the little river creek. Rapid, the mini rapid,
the creek rapid,
the creek rapid, and Lexon like picked it up for me, but it like was fully submerged.
Yeah,
and
didn't want to.
The other one was pretty wet too, and so my shoes were wet. We had to walk back, and I was like, I don't want to wear like soggy shoes, and so I was like, I'm just gonna walk in the creek. So I'm like walking in the creek with no shoes. So we get back up to the Airbnb, and our Airbnb host like, comes up to us, and he's like, I told him what happened, and he was like, oh, did you rinse off? I was like, no. Like, he's like, you should rinse off, like, after you go in the creek. And I was like, okay.
And you're like, that's some California shit. Because I'm from Indiana.
That's what I felt. I was
my
like,
first time
I was
creek
like,
stomping.
I used to run around barefoot all the time. Like, I don't care. But anyway, now
you're infected and
look at this.
You might have ringworm.
I'm kind of joking about the ringworm thing, but like, it's like spreading. Like, it's itchy. And there's like little bumps around it.
Medicine on it?
Yeah, some ointment.
Okay, good. All right, well, just keep that up, I guess.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Well, I watched the cats while you were there, and that was a great time.
The kitty cats.
I had fun by myself, laying in your bed, playing video games on my Switch, and not doing shit. So I had a great time.
You didn't even use the projector, did you?
I didn't. I just played video games the whole time.
But you're going on a trip soon.
I am. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I really didn't ever expect to ever go here really in my life, but
really?
Yeah, I just didn't.
You never like thought like, oh, I want to go.
No, I want to go. I've always wanted to go, but I just didn't think it was that feasible for me. Like, I don't know, it sounds like such a faraway concept of like going to Japan, but we're taking a family trip with Kadar's family over to Japan. We leave in, 2 days?
Yeah, and you're going to Tokyo, right?
Yeah, going to Tokyo. We've got the whole itinerary planned out. It's like a family trip, so we're going to go see like places his grandma grew up, and
because his grandma's from Japan.
Yeah, she was born and raised in Tokyo, and we're all just going to go see the family landmarks and then do the other stuff too. But I'm really excited. I'm really nervous.
I hope you go to the lesbian bar because they have like a real lesbian bar there.
I'm literally going with all lesbian.
Yeah. So I hope
no one in Kadar's family is
I wish
straight.
I could remember the name of that place.
It's lesbian heavy. So yeah. I do see us going to some lesbian bars.
Yeah, Nichome is like the neighborhood.
Nichome.
The gay neighborhood. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm nervous. And you're staying with my animals the whole time.
I will for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. I mean, as you know, but the listeners don't know, I went to Tokyo in 2019, and we also went to Kyoto, and that was a lot of fun. But it is like, I feel like for an international city, you'll be surprised by, like, not everybody knows English.
Yeah.
I would have thought, like, Tokyo, it's, like, international, like, everybody knows English, but not everybody does. But you can just, like, when you order food, that's, like, the communication is, like, ordering food, and you just say kudasai.
Yeah, I know that one.
You say, like, the food and kudasai.
Kudasai. But, yeah, anything else new on your end?
GLP-1s.
Ozempic.
So you tried it. Ozempic.
Listen, I was pre-diabetic, and my doctor was like, girl, you're about to be diabetic.
I feel like even, like, at the time that you were doing it, there was still, like, some stigma around it. But I think that now...
No, there's still stigma around
it.
Trust me.
No.
Yeah, there is.
Well, you know what? I'm about to stigmatize it again because I was reading this Reddit thread. And basically the requirements are you have to be, like, 30 BMI, or if you have, like, a condition like diabetes 2 or something like that, you can be 27 BMI. And there was this girl on a Reddit thread that was like, I'm 26 BMI, but I'm about to just lie and say I'm 30 so that I can get it.
Yeah, that's what people do.
Yeah.
Celebrities have had access to this for a long ass time. How do you think Khloe Kardashian got so thin so fast?
Yeah.
Literally, my doctor told me about this before I had even heard about Ozempic. My thyroid doctor was like, oh.
You have a thyroid doctor?
No, I went to him because I couldn't lose weight. And they were like, you need to get your thyroid checked. So I was like, okay. It turns out my thyroid's fine. He was like, our age. He's like, if you really want to lose weight,
you try to
you could just
Ozempic.
He was like, you could just eat before you get blood work done and make it look like you're diabetic. And then they'll prescribe you this shot that you take once a week, and it'll help you lose weight really easily. And I was like, that's crazy. You're insane.
He put you on.
My point is, if they knew about it before we all did, then the celebrities have been getting this shit for a while.
Yeah, they definitely have. I mean, it's been around. I mean, it obviously has been around as like a diabetes medication for a really long time, but like it started getting popular a few years ago for like celebrities to lose weight. But I think that now it's even more popular. Like, it's really easy to
it's
get
getting
now,
easier and
like,
easier.
for the common public. Like, there are apps.
Yeah.
You can just download the app and, like, you don't have to go to the doctor. Like, this is what I did.
Yeah.
I just downloaded the app, put in my information. All I did was send them a picture of me. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to, like, verify anything. Yeah. And they were like, okay, you're approved.
It's because they want to make money.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, if you want it, sure.
But getting insurance coverage is another story.
You can't get insurance coverage unless you already have diabetes.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. I was so close to getting diabetes. And once you get diabetes, you can't go back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just have it forever.
You almost had diabetes?
Yeah. I don't think it should be stigmatized because I think it's just a fat phobic thing. And I know we want to do some episodes about fat phobia and like diet culture and stuff at some point. You know, it's just one of those things where it's like everyone hates fat people, right?
Yeah.
And then when they figure out a way to make people not fat, everyone's hating on that too.
Yeah.
What do you want? Like, just whatever. It's a medicine that's helping something that you hate. And you're hating on the solution.
I also think that like some people can like lose weight more easily.
They can.
Also, some people just like have the mental. I don't know. I don't have like the mental
capacity to go to the fucking gym every day.
I've just never been that girl, and I don't think I ever will be.
Me
like
either.
I'm just not her.
It's okay.
And I'm gonna like change my lifestyle and like eat better and exercise more, like move more. You know, do like little things. I don't need to like heavily work out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like for me, it got me to lose weight, and then I was only on it for like 4 months, 5 months, and it got me to lose weight, and then I was able to keep it off. You lose the weight, you just have to maintain it, and I think you could maintain it easy.
Well, how do you think that you were able to maintain it?
It taught me how to eat right, because anything that I would eat that was like fried or fatty, it would make me vomit or just make me super nauseous. So
do you think like your appetite like got bigger after you stopped taking
my
it?
appetite came back once I stopped taking it, but I just kept eating the same meals that I had been eating when I was on it, not as intensely.
I ordered my first shipment of GLP-1s and they were supposed to come today. I don't know what happened with UPS, but maybe tomorrow I'll get them. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, this will be an experience. Okay, one more thing I have to say before we get into all this, because it's literally blowing my mind and changing my life. Mm-hmm. I started listening to this podcast called the Telepathy Tapes.
You sent it to me, yeah.
Mm-hmm, and they're making a documentary about it as well. Like
it actually like topped Joe Rogan.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because Joe Rogan's been like #1, and it did top him.
Well, it should top him because this is some crazy shit, dude. If you guys don't know, the Telepathy Tapes are about this girl who teams up with a scientist, and she talks to a bunch of parents whose children are autistic, but like nonverbal autistic. Mm-hmm. And all of them have learned to like spell on an iPad so they can like communicate on an iPad with their parents, even though the parents were told no one's in there. Like they're not in there. False. Absolutely false. Because they can communicate now through the iPad. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of training for them to be able to do it, but they can do it, and they're all very intelligent. So that's really sad that they, have been treated stupid.
I mean, just think about like before we had, I mean, there were like devices, but it was only the people that had like the money and the resources to get them.
Yeah.
Now iPads are pretty accessible for people to get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they started communicating through the iPad, and then they realized that there's a huge group of autistic people who can read minds.
Listen, guys, there's not a lot of research on this. There's not one lady that's doing it.
No, there's not one lady that's doing it.
Well, people are
You need to
reaching
listen
out
to
her,
the podcast.
But she's the only one with like any kind of like credits online.
Yeah, she has credits online, but they talk to more than just her. They talk to like teachers and parents and
I'm just saying like
other scientists from like Cambridge University and shit who's like, yes, I believe all this stuff, but you know, you could lose your license because scientists only talk about the material things. Like if you can see it and measure it and put it on a tangible things, then that's what's real. They're not taking it seriously because they just don't think it can happen. But it's happening.
I mean, I believe that it's happening. I'm just saying, like, we can't throw out statistics here because there's not enough.
Well, that's what they said. I don't know where they got their research. I'm sure it's cited somewhere, but they said that there's that big of a population because not only can these kids, like, read their parents' minds, but they can also communicate with each other.
Oh, I didn't get to that part.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm a fucking telepathy connoisseur at this point. But they can communicate with each other, and they have their own little, like, chat room type of thing called the Hill.
Let's, like, give some evidence for this, though, because it's starting to sound a little bit conspiracy theory.
Okay, evidence.
What I remember is the first story. They talk about the girl that her mom starts to like realize that she is telepathic because, well, something about a purple backpack. Do you remember that part in the first episode? It was like her mom was like thinking about, she was like, I'm going to test this because it seems like she kind of like knows everything. So she was thinking in her head about a specific like purple backpack, and the girl like wrote it down.
Yeah, there's been so they do a bunch of testing on the podcast where they take all the reflective stuff out of the rooms. They'll have like the mom stand on the complete opposite side of the room, and they'll have like a random word generator pop up on her phone, and she'll just look at the word, and then all of a sudden the kid starts typing it like right when she looks at the word.
Yeah. And so there's like no way that they would have known without like.
No, and they were 100% accurate.
Yeah.
It's just like blowing my mind. Like they talked to this scientist who's like, yeah, we must have like almost like a mental force around ourselves, like a radio wave kind of. Like he was just saying like, okay, but magnetism and all this stuff is, you can't see it, but it's there. Magnetism? Like why couldn't this be something that's just there that we didn't know of? And if they're nonverbal, maybe they have this skill that like,
I mean,
we don't.
It's like how people didn't believe that the earth was round.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's still people that don't believe that, but like, you know, anything that we discover sounds like magic until we figure it out. And
I think that the fact that scientists don't take it seriously is why we don't have enough research on it.
I think like psychology in general, like, and it's because of like what you said and like what they're saying, there's nothing, a lot of times you don't have like tangible evidence for like certain psychological things. Like it's only like what the person says, you know, and so it's hard to prove that. You have like brain waves, I guess, but
and they do like in other episodes they do like brain scans and stuff like that to like see what's going on in the brain when this telepathy stuff is happening. And it's just been blowing my mind and like kind of confirming like what I already knew, I guess, in a way. Like I think we all have the ability to do these special powers or be psychic or be telepathic or whatever, but because our world is so busy, it's drowning out our other senses that we could possibly have. And it's not that crazy to me because I already kind of believed that. But
I had like a teacher that like a visiting teacher in elementary school that always used to tell us like, you're only using 10% of your brain and like you can like tap in to like move things with your mind. We had a teacher, I don't know who was letting this teacher come in and tell us this, but so I've always like kind of believed that there is more. But I was gonna say, oh yeah, have you heard about like the creative collective consciousness? It's like, you know, a lot of people will say that like their work is being copied.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
But it's also like
people can have the same thoughts
at the same time.
Yeah, and that they were also comparing it to like when someone is thinking about somebody and then they get a phone call from that person and it's like, oh shit, like I was just thinking about you.
I think that happens to me a lot where like I'll like think of like a number and then it happens.
Yeah, you need to just listen to the rest because it's really mind blowing. Like the first episode I was like, okay, that's cool, and then they keep going into each thing. Like every episode it just gets more and more mind blowing for me. I'm like, damn. So all right, that's all I can talk about.
I'll watch the rest
all week. Okay, let's get into our fucking topic.
Yeah, as we said, we got some listener stories of their craziest hookups, and this is the first time we're going to be reading them because they're just in our DMs.
Yeah, we got quite a
few. Should we call that one listener first?
Oh, yes, we have one listener that wants us to call her so that she can tell a story.
Hello, listener.
What's good? Hello, I'm a loyal listener. I just want to tell you a little story about a hookup that I had.
Please do.
Please do. We're ready to hear it.
All right, cool. So this was like a really long time ago. I think I was like 16. And I'm 80. So do the math. This guy was obsessed with me. He like made me mixtapes. And I was young. He was older. I know that he was at least 21 because that was my prerogative back then. And it was their prerogative as well. I didn't really even find this guy attractive. I just really liked the attention. And I felt like, oh, he can get me alcohol, whatever. You know, classic. Tale as old as time. So we end up hooking up. And I remember it was like in, I think, his grandma's basement. Because he didn't even have a place. And when I tell you, this is the weirdest dick I've ever seen.
Tell us more.
I've seen quite a few penises. It curved like, sometimes penises curve left or right or up or whatever. This curved down. Like, it curved like Gonzo's nose from the Muppets.
It was like a Squidward nose. Yes. Well, also Gonzo's nose.
Yes.
Wow.
And honestly, I did not know what to do. I think I like blacked out at that point because I was like, it's not curving up. Like it's literally, this is the way that it is.
It's like going the wrong direction.
That's confusing.
And solid.
Like no bending, no flexibility.
It was like a hook.
Yes. And it was not moving any other direction. And I was like, I just didn't.
He was like going fishing.
How can you forget that?
So, did you end up having sexual relations with him?
I think we tried, but I honestly think it didn't work.
Well,
like, it was an awkward, I didn't say anything about it because it's like, you can't control what this, you know, you can't control it.
You can't be like, stop putting your dick that way.
Right. It's not his fault, you know. But what am I supposed to do? I mean, now I'm thinking about it. And
I'm thinking about him and like what his life has been like since this moment. Like who are his partners?
Has he had successful hookups?
How does it work for him?
Does he have to lay upside down?
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, you guys. I think the only way that would work is if like you are laying down on the floor and then you put your legs back like you're trying to be a pretzel. And then he's standing on top.
Okay, yeah,
I see that.
You got the visual. I think, and I know I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fine. You were young.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is, I think that's like the story. I've got others.
No, that was great. That was literally everything we ever needed to hear. It was great. Okay, I love that.
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in and sharing that with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, have a great day.
Goodbye.
Okay,
bye.
Okay, so that was hilarious. That was our listener, Missy. She did not want to be anonymous.
We put out a story on our Instagram and we got some responses. Okay, so here's the teaser. This guy tried to remove my tampon with his teeth, and I kicked him in the stomach.
That's all you need to know, guys.
But
we have a breakdown of what's going on.
This listener says, this was damn near 13 years ago at this point, but I was traumatized. I was on like a 4th date or something with the first person I ever met on a dating app in my life a few months after moving here, which is LA. We had gone up to his place after drinks at Cabo Cantina. Oh, that place in Hollywood.
Cabo Cantina. We all know.
Honestly, that place is so cheap.
It's so cheap and it gets you fucked up.
Yeah.
And she put
like a throwing up
face.
And we were just like making out, hadn't ever hooked up fully before, just kissed. And then he starts getting a little frisky and moving down there. And I was just like trying to be cute and flirty while also being like, nah, not this time. I'm on my period. To which he replied, literally grabbing my tampon with his teeth. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he kind of came up thinking it was funny, ? And then he tried to kiss me, so I kicked him in the stomach to get him off me and got the fuck out of there. Only to get my car and have my first $75 LA parking ticket.
Damn. That's crazy. Like,
wow.
If someone, no. See, that's the thing. It's like, dude, we don't know each other like that. Why are you grabbing my tampon string with your teeth?
That's like, honestly, like, I'm for like period sex, like, and maybe if I was with a partner for a while, I'd be like, okay, maybe that could be a thing we could explore. But like, I feel like there should be like a conversation.
It should be a conversation,
or like,
especially.
Like,
what if she didn't have an extra tampon? And
yeah,
you just
exactly. He's just gonna leave her bleeding. Like
you don't do that to a woman.
That's not like a 4th date. Behavior.
That is like 3 years into the relationship. Yeah. Hey, should we have period sex?
Yeah. Well, period sex is okay, but like taking the tampon out
with your teeth.
There was no conversation.
They never even hooked up.
Yeah, the only conversation was her being like, "I'm on my period." Right before it happened.
Like, and
it might be like really wholesome and he had just been in a relationship for a really long time and like that was like what he was used to doing with his ex.
But some girls are like embarrassed about being on their period and they don't want to have period sex. Yeah. They're like, I'm embarrassed by it. Like, you don't know.
Or they're like uncomfortable, their stomach hurts. Like,
like get out of here, sir. Thank you for that story.
I'm sorry that happened.
I know.
Especially the parking ticket too, like right after.
Right, it's like, okay, great. This experience just happened, and then on top of that, I get hit with a $75 ticket. Great. For what?
What a way to like, also they had just moved to LA, like not too,
Yeah, love that. So we got another response. This one is really short, but this one is from someone who is a listener, but I knew her back in Ohio, and we would hang out. It was like when we were like 21. She responded to our story and just said, years ago at a costume party, Allie, which is me, tried to stop me from going home with a stranger. 2 weeks later, I found out I had chlamydia. Thanks,
shit.
guy. And I vaguely remember this, like, because we were partying a lot, but we were young, and I was like, don't go home with him. Don't. Like, I don't know why I didn't want her to go home with him, because I'm usually very like, yeah, fuck it. But maybe I didn't like his vibe.
Yeah. You felt the vibe.
And then he gave her chlamydia, so.
Okay, so the next one is from another listener. I was 22 probably and got back to this guy's house after meeting at a bar and drinking a lot. He had roommates and they weren't home. I'd never been there before. I realized I had to vomit as soon as I got there. I've been there, honestly. I've been there.
I vomit a lot.
Uh-huh. And I ran to the stairs looking for a bathroom and ended up in the girl roommate's room and projectile vomited everywhere. Horrifying. Keep anonymous. Lol.
I feel like we've all have like a vomiting story of some kind where it's just like, you know what? We did not know our limits and this is what happened, especially when we were 22. Okay, so there's another listener and they write in and said, I went on a second date and it was with a few of his friends to a baseball game. Of course, lots of drinking. Got back to my apartment and had to vomit and was so embarrassed because we just had our first kiss and I literally had to run and puke. And then I was trying to keep it cool, so I asked if he wanted to smoke weed with me. And so we went outside and did that, even though that was the last thing I should have done. And then turns out I locked us out of my apartment. It was the middle of the night. I didn't even have my phone on me, nor did I know anyone's number that could have helped me regardless, and I was newer to the city I was living in. So at this point, it's late, probably 1 a.m., And this guy was honestly so annoyed with me, but he couldn't leave me outside stranded. So he drove us to a hotel and we slept on opposite sides of the bed, didn't cuddle, didn't talk.
I could just see them like facing the opposite direction.
He's like, this fucking girl. I'm so annoyed. But that was nice. He didn't leave her because I feel like there are men who would just be like okay,
at least he's like a decent enough person to be like, okay, let's like make it safe. Like, okay, here's another one. There was a guy I went home with, and I thought he was so hot with his man bun. This was like 2012 probably. So that's like of that time. Anyway, we were back at his place and making out like crazy. And all of a sudden he took down his hair, and it was so long, like to his butt probably. And he was whipping it back and forth, and it was getting like wrapped around my neck like a scarf. And I got the ick so quick. It just felt dangerous too. I left.
Dude, I understand. Like what? Like that? I don't even know what to think about. Like
she was like, "Oh my god, his man bun!" And then,
his man bun is so hot, and then it backfires on him, and he's like, "I whip my hair back and forth," but in a non-sexy way. And then like, is he trying to choke her with his hair? Like, I'm not sure if that was intentional or if it just happened to keep getting stuck around her neck.
I feel like he might have been. I wouldn't have taken my hair down like that because I feel like you want it up during sex.
Especially
like,
if it's
that
out
of
long.
the way. Like,
bro, I don't need to like get your hair in my mouth and stuff when we're doing it. That one's really funny. Let's see.
So many.
I know. Okay, this one is from a listener, and it was when they were in college. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was with one of my best friends at a party in college, and there was this guy that I thought was really cute. And we had been flirting the last few weekends, and my friend liked his roommate. Well, we both went home with the guys, and we were watching a movie, and then we went to our separate rooms, and I'm hooking up with this guy, and it was going well, I thought, and all of a sudden, I'm on top, and he starts crying. Like, legit sobbing, and eventually says, I can't do this, and we had to stop. He said that he wasn't over his ex-girlfriend.
Oh
that they had just broken up. I was horrified. Mind you, at the party we were at, there was a tray of brownies that my friend and I ate quite a bit of, and we had no idea they were weed brownies. Oh, I literally ran out of his room and barged into another guy's room and started uncontrollably crying and made her leave with me. I was 18 years old and was seriously like so mortified and embarrassed in that moment that he stopped me, but I realized later he should have been more embarrassed than me. LOL. I went on the rest of that year hanging out with a friend of his, and it like tortured him. He never got back with his ex.
Aw.
That's sad. He was just a soft boy.
He was just sad. He was just sad and lonely.
He was a sad
Not
boy.
Not lonely, but like heartbroken. Yeah.
Poor guy. But that's really funny.
I feel like a lot of our listeners are having these like juicy stories from like their
college days.
Yeah.
That's when we're all like awkward and we don't know what the fuck's going on. We're all drunk and stuff.
I don't even remember. I blacked out.
I'm gonna read the next one about
Okay, so here's another listener. So we're keeping like most of these anonymous. Yeah. Unless they tell us. Here's another anonymous listener. Basically, funny enough, I was out on a date with this guy and we just weren't really hitting it off, but it was fine. I was super young and we were out drinking at a dive bar, and at some point throughout the night I met a different guy, and every time the guy I was on a date with would go to the bathroom or go to the bar to get us another drink, I was talking to this other guy. We ended up all three hanging out, but it was getting weird with the original date because I clearly had chemistry with the new guy. So I got the new guy's number at some point when he was in the bathroom, and then I ended up going home that night and chatted on the phone with the guy I just met. He asked me on a date for the next night. At the time I was younger and nervous about dinner dates, so I suggested we just meet for a drink. There was a band playing, and honestly we were having a great conversation and it was fun. I was probably only like 21 to 24 years old, and I knew he seemed older, which I felt was hot at the time. This seems to be a trend.
Yeah.
What I didn't know was how much older until he mentioned he had a 16-year-old daughter.
Oh my God.
That felt weird, and I immediately told him my age, and it's too big of a gap. But I figured for the night we could just have fun. We decided to get a bite to eat, and he said he would drive. He had only had one drink, so I wasn't worried about him driving. I was so young and dumb, and I cannot believe I got in the car with this stranger, but he seemed like a nice guy. So we were driving to this restaurant, and I noticed that there is a cop behind us, and I mentioned, I think we're getting followed. He was very quick to shoot that down and said, not to worry, definitely not following us. Sure enough, the lights go on, and we're getting pulled over. My only thought was the alcohol. Like, was he over the limit? They asked if he was, and he said yes. And they told him he was under arrest.
Oh my God.
Okay, that escalated quickly. We both got out of the car. I was shaking. I was so nervous and confused. They took him to the cop car, and they were talking to him for a little while. And then the cop came over to talk to me. And honestly, the cop was pretty nice. The cop said that the guy had told him it was our first date, and he was really embarrassed in the date. But then the cop continued on to say, look, I want you to know this is not a good guy.
Oh, shit.
Dun, dun, dun. He apparently was arrested for domestic violence, and the cop said it didn't look good at all. The guy I was on a date with gave the cop his car keys so he wouldn't leave me stranded, and I could at least drive myself home. This was so long ago, there was no Uber, and a taxi would be difficult to get. I was in such a shock that I literally just took the keys, got in his car, and started to drive without really thinking about this because she has his car.
His first day, and she has his car.
I also was so nervous because I had a drink, and I was shaky and scared to drive this stranger's car, and I ended up turning on the music. There was some CD playing, and he had cigarettes in there, and I lit one up and smoked the whole way home and laughed so loud because I was in disbelief of all of this. Unfortunately, since I drove his car home, I had to deal with him the next day. His daughter contacted me, the 16-year-old. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is crazy. And told me he was getting out of jail, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He stopped by my apartment to get his keys and said he'd love to explain the situation. And I stopped him right there, and he asked if he blew it, and I simply said, yeah.
Yeah, bro. The cop just told me you have been arrested for domestic violence.
Yeah.
And this is our first fucking date. And you blew it.
The fact
brother.
that the daughter called is crazy.
Brother, your 16-year-old daughter just called me? You blew it,
She's
bro.
the responsible party right now.
Yeah, you blew it.
He tried to start explaining a little, and I was like, sorry, I can't. He thankfully respected that and left. I never heard from him again. I can't believe some of the situations I put myself in when I was younger. Yeah.
It's so funny.
That's absolutely wild.
Those are really good. Do we want to end this by telling one of our own?
Yeah,
stories?
I feel like I probably, after hearing all of those stories that were really good, I realized, I really did get into crazy situations, but, I don't remember a lot of it.
I know that's my problem, too, because my memory's so bad, I don't remember too much. But I do have one that happened kind of recently.
Okay.
And I'm telling it, and it makes me look awful, and I don't care. But I was living in West Virginia at the time, and my company flew me out in December for the company holiday party, and got me a hotel in Santa Monica, and it was really fun. But those holiday parties are crazy, and we always drink a lot. And I was single for the first time in 3 years. And I got on Tinder, and I was just matched with this really cute guy, and he had cute glasses and kind of he was a little hipster, and he seemed really chill. And I was like, oh, I have this company holiday party, but we're all going to this bar afterwards if you want to meet up with us there.
Okay.
And he was like, okay. So he met up with us. I was so drunk at this point. And I ended up taking him back to my hotel room. And we were making out. And then I was like, I'm going to change into some comfy clothes. And I changed into my Taco Bell shirt. I don't know why. I put my Taco Bell shirt on and some sweatpants. And we were just chilling in bed. I don't even remember. I think we were watching TV or something, just chilling in bed. And then all of a sudden, I had to throw up really bad. Oh, no. And I started throwing up in the bed, and I had to cover my mouth, and I was throwing up all the way to the bathroom. I left a vomit trail. I got vomit all over my Taco Bell shirt. And I came back out and I was like, I'm so sorry about that. And he was like, it's okay. I think I'm going to leave. And I was so drunk. I was like, no, don't leave.
Don't leave me. Let's hang out.
And he's like, no, I'm going to leave. And I was like, can I get your number? And he said, no, let's just keep this as a mysterious memory.
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was like, cool. Sorry about this night.
Well,
nice to meet
apparently
you.
he's never had fun in his life and dealt with somebody throwing up.
I know. Well, we had literally just met. Like, he was probably like, this bitch is crazy.
Did
She's
he not
so
get
drunk.
that drunk?
No, because he didn't go to the holiday party with me.
So he wasn't drunk at all.
No.
Oh,
I was just wasted, and I was like, come to this bar.
Yeah.
Thought we were going to hook up.
So
we did
he
not.
wasn't drunk.
He wasn't.
I think that's what
he was like drinking, but
no,
he wasn't.
He hadn't been drinking
Wasn't
before
on the
that,
same level as me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whoops.
And that's fine. It is a mysterious memory, and you'll never see
never
him
know
again.
who this person is ever again. And we never spoke again. But that's probably for the best. But I just thought that was really funny because, like, not only did I vomit, but it was all over my Taco Bell T-shirt and a vomit trail to the bathroom that I had to clean up in front of him. It was really embarrassing. That's my story.
I'm like,
just a puker. Always
just a projectile
I'm just a projectile puker. Nothing new here. No, but really, those holiday parties, like, I'm pretty sure I puked at almost all of them.
I don't know what story to tell, really. Like, I feel like I really just don't remember. I mean, the only one I can think of right now is, because we're on the topic of puking, is this guy that he was like somebody that, I don't know. I was like in my Tinder queen phase.
You were being a hoe?
Yeah, I was like meeting a lot of people. I was looking for a boyfriend. I wasn't necessarily being a hoe. I was just going on a lot of dates and trying to find the right person. And I was Tinder queen. And so anyway, like, this is a guy that I had seen like a few times, and I feel like we were like cool. He was a nice guy. I actually like ran into him like 5 years or like a few years later.
Oh,
that was, yeah. But anyway, like, this guy, he was actually a nice guy, so I feel kind of bad telling the story, but like, he's just like not my type, I guess. We, for some reason, like, the date was like going to the beach, and it was really far, like Dockweiler Beach, like really far. And
far.
See, I don't remember much of this, but I know that I had like a fifth of like vodka or tequila or something, and we played truth or dare in like one of those beach towers. It was like at night, and the beach was like empty. Oh, you know what it was? Like, we were on a date, and he was like, my friends are going to Dockweiler Beach for a bonfire, and then we got there and his friends weren't there. That's what happened. Okay, hold on, let me start over.
What?
So we were on a date, like normal date, like at a bar, and he was like, do you want to go to Dockweiler Beach for a bonfire? And which is like far away from LA. Like,
yeah,
you
but
have
that's
to,
the only beach that lets you have the bonfire.
lets you have, yeah. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm down. And we took an Uber, which was like a expensive Uber, to get down there, just the two of us, and we did that. And then I guess his friends had like already left by the time we got there, and I just like had this like handle of vodka or tequila or whatever it was, and so we're like, well, we're at the beach now, let's just like hang out and drink. Yeah, we hung out in one of those like lifeguard towers.
That's
and
cute.
We played truth or dare, and we drank like a lot of this like fifth of vodka or tequila or whatever it was. And I remember like at one point we like got in the water, like as a dare. It was like cold outside, but I feel like it's like fun date, right?
Yeah, it sounds fun.
And then like we're really drunk because like all we had to drink was just this like whole thing of vodka or tequila or whatever it was.
Clear alcohol of some kind.
I think we ended up, I didn't have any money, and he got drunker than I was. Okay, now I'm remembering it. So he was drunker than I was. I didn't have money to like get us back. Like, he bought the Uber to get us there, and I was like, I can't buy the Uber to get it back. Like, I need you to buy it.
It was his idea to even go there in the first place.
Yeah, and his friends weren't there, which was weird.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think there was like some point in the night that he got too drunk and like he couldn't like respond or like do anything, and I was like, bro, like, you need to get the Uber back because like I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Because it was like a $60 or like $80 Uber, and I was like, I
can't do that.
I ended up like taking his phone. I think like we ended up at his house. I wanted to go home, but because like we were on his phone, no money, ended up at his house, and he's like very drunk, and I don't think we even hooked up. So maybe this isn't a hookup story. I don't know if we even hooked up, but like I woke up like in the middle of the night to like the smell of puke, and I was like, oh my God, I like puked in his bed. and it was actually like his puke just like like draping over the side of the bed. And
Ew.
I felt really bad because I was like, I feel like this is my fault because I didn't get that drunk.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh my God. No, that's embarrassing for him.
Yeah. And I don't know if this was the same day. I think it might have been, but he like ordered us DoorDash afterwards. And I was like, okay.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know why that just reminded me. This is a really short story. But it reminded me of this time I went to this guy's house in K-Town, and he lived with his parents, like, in the basement. And we, like, had sex, and then I was going to the bathroom, and I sat down on the toilet, and then, I turned the light on, and I sat down on the toilet. I was, like, really, like, I think I was half asleep. I sat down on the toilet, and I just saw all these roaches run.
God.
Out from the toilet, like
he had
all
an
over the floor.
Oh hell
and
no.
I was like sitting with my feet up, and I was like, oh my God. And then I went back to him, and I was like, you have like roaches. And he was like, yeah, like it was
bro, this is not like a chill kind of roach
like
situation.
Yeah,
and they're coming out of the toilet, like
not out of the toilet water, but like from the crevices.
Yeah, like they're
and like to the point
where
I
had
had
food in the bathroom.
Yes,
like,
I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
I have never seen something like it. And I thought
crazy.
for a second I was dreaming because I was like, this is crazy.
That sounds like a nightmare.
I'm like half asleep, like this has to be a nightmare. I woke up like, no, this is not. This is real, and this is disgusting, and I'm going to go now. But anyway, that's all I got.
I feel like this was a successful episode of stories. I hope you guys enjoyed that. There were some juicy ones in there.
Yeah. Thank you for submitting all of your stories. It made for a really fun time.
Sometime I'll tell a story about my stalker, but I don't think it was appropriate for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much, pod. Email us.
Yeah, email us.
Buy us a coffee.
We love to read your emails. DM us. Buy us a coffee. Check all of the links in our bio. You'll see the buy us a coffee link. Mm-hmm. We're getting really close. We keep saying that, but we are getting really close.
We've got some savings in there.
And love you so much. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.